What's up, rock stars? It's Rocks with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. All right, you guys. So first up, let's talk about some international news, shall we? Seems that UCLA is in China to play against Georgia Tech. Okay, you know how sometimes the schools will go across seas and it'll be like kind of one of those goodwill reaching out type of exhibition. I don't know if it's an exhibition game or if it's okay, but you know how they do those things. All right, well, this year we had UCLA and we have Georgia Tech in a game scheduled this Sunday, I believe. The UCLA team is staying, I believe, at the Hyatt down in Chicago. They moved Chicago to China. They're staying in China, and I guess the team as a whole, or many of the guys on the team, had walked down into the city, and there was a Louis Vuitton store down there, and they visited, looked at some items, and when they left, somebody said that they had stolen some things. I guess everything at Louis Vuitton is fucking big ticket, but they were saying that they're making much mention about some sunglasses that were stolen. So they say after security or the police went and interviewed the team about these missing sunglasses and other items, small accessories, I believe, they finally did arrest 3 of UCLA's players, okay? Jalen Hill, Cody Riley, and LiAngelo Ball. Okay, now you guys know LiAngelo Ball. He is the middle brother of Lonzo Ball, one of the 3 sons of LeVar Ball. We all, we know about that family. And yeah, a scandal that I'm sure they don't need at the time. When I heard the story, I was just like, look, I really hope that this boy ain't got out there and done something so fucking stupid. Now, I love Louis Vuitton, go in the store pretty often, and I know that there are cameras every single place in that place, okay? They usually have security at the door that's sitting there and watching everybody, but I just would think that most people that go in there knows that even if you don't think anybody is watching, Big Brother is always watching, and they're keeping their eye on you, and they especially gonna keep their eye on the ones that got this kind of skin. So, I'm not really sure whether or not they got them on video, but if they did steal, I'm pretty sure that it was captured on video, and if they feel they had enough evidence to arrest them, then it ain't really looking all that good. But I'm gonna still reserve my final opinion on everything until we get more news. Right now everybody is very much mums the word. LeVar Ball, who is very much outspoken, has not said anything other than his son will be fine, that it wasn't that big of a deal. However, he's been, I'm sure, advised to not say anything. These are now international issues. This is not just somebody even at a local Louis Vuitton store stealing. Changes up the game a whole lot. So they say that they arrested them. The boys are not to leave the hotel until they decide if they are going to press charges or not. They have 37 days to figure out if they want to pursue them and formally press charges. If that happens, then there's another 2 months that's added on there. So potentially these boys could be in China for 3 more months. And not good. Just not good. We've heard enough about the Chinese government to know that, we ain't really trying to go to jail there. Especially, I don't know what the color of the other 2 boys were, but even as this LiAngelo boy being black, and that is not an ideal situation in any which kind of way. Overall, a mess. Terrible PR for UCLA. You don't never hear these kind of things happening there. I just honestly cannot believe that these boys would be that stupid, but you would be surprised at how dumb our teenage kids are. I hate to say it, but I got 2 teenage kids, so I feel like I can. A lot of them don't think the same way as we used to back in the day. I'm not quite sure if it's because a lot of them are entitled or what, but yeah, just a total lapse in judgment if it happened. But again, let me not try to, say that this is what they did until I get the video proof. I need some sort of proof, and it got to be tangible where somebody saw it, proof, before I can really say how I feel which way or the other. But we're gonna hear more about this story, and I just really hope that these kids are innocent, that there was some sort of misunderstanding, maybe there was even some rush to judgment. But time will tell. We'll see what happens for Mr. LiAngelo Ball. Wendy Williams. Now, Wendy Williams ain't been having a good latter part of the year herself. News hit a while ago that her husband was having this 10-year relationship with this mistress, and that he had gotten so deep in love and, you know, really had established a second life with her, purchased a home with her, and got her an engagement ring. You guys remember all that story, okay? Wendy Williams went on to her show and say that, you know, she didn't really deny it, but she didn't, you know, she just kind of was sort of like, whatever, okay? I got the ring, okay, you guys, this is my right hand, by the way. It looks like it's my left hand on the video because they transposed the video flips when I post it from photo booth. It don't really matter at this point, but a lot of people always ask me, like, why do you have your wedding ring on your right hand? Well, I don't. It's on my left hand, but this is my right hand, which looks left to you guys. Ain't got shit to do with what we talking about here, okay? Getting off track. Let me get back on. So anyway, she showed off her wedding ring and was just like, that's my man, that's my dude, I'm gonna stick with him. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, but then we heard a whole bunch of whisperings that it was stress on the set, and, you know, that she fired people that had leaked the story, and that she was secretly looking into possibly divorcing him. But none of that came out publicly. It was all hearsay and, you know, innuendo and whisperings and, you know, all of that. But then we had Wendy pass out on Halloween, and I told you guys then that it looked strange to me, not just somebody overheating. A lot of my medical rock stars, you know, nurses and doctors, a lot of them said no, it didn't look like it was a stroke. And it could have possibly been overheating, but it could also be from stress and just a little bit of a lot of things added up together to pass, you know, for her to pass out. So we'll roll with that if that's what you say. But it just, something is going on with Wendy Williams. Okay, now the story now is that her husband Kevin has been seen with the girl again, the mistress. We done seen him getting out the Bentley truck. It's orange, okay? We done seen her getting out the Bentley truck. We done seen Wendy Williams getting out of that same Bentley truck, getting dropped off of work in the morning, okay? We done seen the girl with the engagement ring, okay? We done seen the girl looking like she's pregnant, and just terrible, just horrible. Obviously, there is something going on in that marriage, and I guess it's too bad that Wendy Williams cannot handle it in private, because I mean, even if you tell a nigga, listen, I'm gonna need you to keep a low profile until we can get shit settled and situated. I mean, you gonna just keep on being out in the middle of the, you know, in them New York streets, and obviously the paps are on you. Okay, it just kind of makes the whole situation even worse. I know there's a whole bunch of talk about Wendy Williams being in the middle of this mess and her either denying it or just not talking about it on her show when she actually does Hot Topics and always wants to tell everybody else's business. And my answer to that is this. Wendy Williams has a Hot Topics portion of her show, the same as Entertainment Tonight talks about entertainment gossip, the same as the E! News Network and Inside Report and all of these different talk show entertainment gossip type of shows that are out there do. And nobody else gives anybody else a hard time but Wendy. Okay, now granted, Wendy is a little bit different with her approach, but yet and still, she's still doing the same thing. Nobody asked Nancy O'Dell to talk about her private problems. You know, what's that guy's name? Is it Jason Alexander? Jason Kennedy. And, you know, Harvey Levin. Nobody is really on them the same way that people are on Wendy Williams. I just feel like people are giving her a harder time because that's her job, just like anybody else has a job to report. So I don't think that I expect Wendy Williams to talk about it, at least not right now, because it's just such a mess. And it would be cool if she eventually did, because I feel like if Wendy Williams comes out and eventually talks about it, maybe once everything is over, maybe she can kind of help some people. You know, it just kind of brings you back to that show, that movie, Girls Trip, when Regina's character finally just had to come out and say what it was, because now at this point you just insulting folks' intelligence and everybody know you lying, and you know, just come on with the come on. But I still don't think that we ought to give Wendy such a hard time for her not telling her business. Okay, that's separate from what her job is, and I think people are having a hard time separating the two. But like I said, it's obvious that shit is going on, and they are going to stay on Wendy Williams and Kevin until it really blows up in whichever way it's going to blow up. But I don't think I expect Wendy Williams to ever talk about it directly or indirectly on her show. At least not right now. But yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad. I'm going to need Kevin to make a decision. But shit, if Wendy ain't making them do it, then maybe we don't need to worry about it ourselves. But the fact that she passed out the other day, it lets me know that there is something happening with Wendy Williams. Hold your head up, girl. I guess it'll get worse before it gets better, but eventually it'll get better. I guess I could have put this in the quickie section, but I'm going to go on and add it in right now, about the bitch that is Tyrese. So last time when I talked about him, we had to take him out of retirement, obviously, because there's a whole lot of shit going on with Tyrese. And God, I feel like this is really what he wants. He just wants everybody to keep talking about him. So we really giving him what he wants. So Tyrese, after he had all his breakdowns and carrying on, I want my baby. He posted on his Instagram that the actress Jada Pinkett Smith, and he had it on his phone right there, that she had contacted him after giving him some uplifting words from her and her husband Will, had went on to give him $5 million for his legal troubles, okay? Because remember, he was crying broke, he didn't have enough money to pay all his bills and everything. One of the rock stars was like, nigga, if you didn't have a goddamn strip mall in your backyard, okay, and maybe, you would be able to afford these things. Nobody can tell me that Tyrese is broke. I just won't believe that right now. I'm sure he's spending a lot of money, but I don't think the man is broke. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, right? So he said that they gave him the money, and oh, surprise, surprise, all of a sudden everybody was feeling it for Tyrese. Okay, this was a man who loved his daughter, who really needs the help. And look, Will and Jada gave to him, and for whatever reason you guys think that Will and Jada is the second coming of Jesus Christ and believe, even though they don't believe in Jesus Christ. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what they believe in, okay? Let's just say they like to believe in a whole bunch of little sprinkle ends of a whole bunch of different religions. But because Will and Jada seem to co-sign the full of fucking niggotry of Tyrese's black ass, and yes, I said black ass, now all of a sudden, okay, everybody was just like, oh, you guys was really talking bad about Tyrese and making fun of him, and that's what's up. They trying to help him. He's a good dad. He's just trying to get to, okay. And I just watched that. And then on top of that, it came out that the Children's Services had dropped their portion of his custody matter, saying that he was not abusive to the daughter. They didn't find any evidence. And again, now everybody was all over it again, Tyrese this and Tyrese that, and hold your head up, brother, and it's gonna be all right, and he gonna get his baby back. And well, after all of that then went down, now they saying that two things. Will and Jada, they was like, excuse me. Yeah, we didn't say we was gonna give him $5 million. Don't really know where he got that from. There was definitely some sort of a miscommunication about that. But we do think that he's having some sort of nervous breakdown, and they're worried about him. I don't know how you get, I'm going to give you $5 million to pay your legal bills mixed up with, we hope you get better, bruh. Okay, them two don't even sound alike, do they? So I don't know if they was going to give him that money, and then when he opened his big mouth about it, that they just was like, oh no, we withdrawing now. Okay, I'm not quite sure what it is with that, but he was stupid to even put it out there. Like, if people are trying to help you behind the scenes, why are you blowing that up? The nigga is stupid. He is really a fool. Okay, and I'm not gonna never say that he's mentally ill, because I really don't think that Tyrese is mentally ill. I told you guys last week he's calculated. Okay, so not only that, but they say that Tyrese was actually granted visitation. I guess once the Child Services DCFS had said, okay, he wasn't beating her, they granted him visitation over the weekend. All that crying and carrying on that he did, you would think that a nigga would be hightailing it over there to see his precious Shayla, right? But he does not do that, okay? Instead, he takes a trip over to Abu Dhabi or something like that for some Formula One races, and, goes to see his family over there, who are not judgmental of him, probably because they don't know all of the fuck shit about this bitch that we do. But how do you just fuck off a visit that you have for your daughter after you have just really made this whole big old thing about the fact that you just want the time with your daughter, crying about, you know, people going to jail and not being able to get So now, of course, after all this shit comes out, how you feel about your boy Tyrese now? Are y'all all still, you know, all back in his corner? Or do you realize, will you finally understand, like Amanda Seales said, okay, that the nigga's having a tantrum and that people need to stop supporting him and making him feel like he needs to continue to do this shit? Child, I done talked about this Negro for 6 minutes. That's 5.5 too damn long, okay? It's obvious that Tyrese is not retired because I feel like he is going to do something else. He's always going to do something else. And you know, because it's such a big story, we'll have to talk about it. But that's the latest on your boy. How y'all feel about him now? Guys, so it was all this talk and questions about whether or not Tamar and Vince was really getting a divorce, or if this was just a PR move to make people watch their final season of Vince and Tamar. I was leaning towards it being true because of all the shit that's happened with the two of them in the past. But, you know, I still did have a little bit of a side eye wondering if really they was going to T.I. and Tiny us and eventually be back together. I mean, shit, we don't even know for a fact if Tiny and T.I. even broke up now that the shit is done. There was discussion whether or not this was really happening. What kind of made me lean towards it really being true was Evelyn Braxton being out and being caught by TMZ and them asking her opinion about the divorce and her saying that, you know, she wants Vince to keep his hands to himself before he kills her daughter. That changed it for me, okay, because I'm just really going to hope that Evelyn hasn't gotten so involved in this whole reality show machine that she would get up there and lie just so openly or say something that wasn't necessarily true just for the promotion of a show. It's different when you say something like, yeah, they got problems, I hope they get it together, you know, maybe get some counseling. That's different than just coming out flat out saying, I want him to stop hitting my child before he kills her. You know, it's a little bit different, and I'm just really hoping that Evelyn would not say something like that if it was not indeed true. So because I'm willing to believe Evelyn, that was what made me believe that Tamar and Vince really were at least really having serious problems. And then, to kind of help me even further along, is Tamar put out a statement yesterday on her Instagram where I'm just gonna bring it down for y'all real quick. She said she was unhappy. Okay, she was in this marriage. She was trying to keep it together, you know, for appearances. I mean, her and Vince is Tamar and Vince, right? She was trying to keep, you know, this appearance where people will be like, oh, look, they're together, and maybe kind of give hope to other people that are hoping to get married. But she said that she's been unhappy. Okay, they fight. She said that they explained it away as passion, and I'm assuming that meant physically fighting, and that definitely is not any expression of love to me at all. I mean, there's healthy ways of fight. It happens in marriages, but you know, once you get to beating up motherfuckers, then it changes the whole scope of the game, right? And in short, she said she just could not do it anymore, that she's not willing to sacrifice her happiness. Now we know why this Bluebird of Happiness album is so important to her. I still haven't even listened to it because that, you know, I'm doing this. Why do you have to breathe like that? Why is everything so like, I can't. And I imagine that there's probably a lot of songs on there, you know, that have that same sound. So I'm just like, I can't. Okay, I usually enjoy Tamar's albums, but I'm gonna have to wait a long time before I can get to all that fucking. But she's really making it a point to say that she really wants to be happy, that, you know, she's already separated her space from Vince, and, you know, that she's concentrating, I guess, on her and her child and her career and all of that. So, do I believe that the divorce is really a real thing? Yeah. I really do believe that the divorce is really a real thing. When I put everything together, yeah, it makes sense to me. But what do you guys think? Do you guys still believe she's just promoting her show and really trying to get people to, you know, tune in? Or do you think that Tamar and Vince is donezo? Aw, so sad, right? But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, sis. So your boy Meek Mills, a lot of talk about him. Okay, so he had 2 recent incidents that landed him in trouble. Okay, one was a confrontation with a fan that was disgruntled. Okay, and he got into a fight with a person, I guess, over a picture or autograph or something like that. And he got arrested for that. And then he also was arrested recently for joyriding in New York. Okay, they said he was reckless endangerment of, you know, other people and all of that. So he was arrested for these 2 different incidents. I think it's important to note that both of them were dropped, but because he was initially arrested for them, he was now in violation of his probation. Okay, and what is he on probation for? Well, he's on probation for now about a decade. A charge that I don't even know what the initial charge was, but back when he was 19 years old, he caught this charge. He was in jail, and when they let him out, they put him on probation. The probationary periods have been so long that anytime he gets in trouble again, he gets time added on to his probation. Okay, so in the past, he's had little problems. Okay, he was coming back dirty on his drug test. And I think that added time onto his probation. They say that he wasn't forthcoming on sometimes when he was on house arrest. That was just a couple of years ago, I believe, recently when he was with Nicki Minaj. He was leaving Philadelphia when he was supposed to be staying there. And then when he told them he was actually leaving, he actually was staying home. So they couldn't keep track of him. And he got more time for that. So he's been in trouble. And each time that he gets in trouble, they add more time onto his probation. Okay, now we are 10, 11 years down the line, and these last 2 charges, even though they were dropped, it made the judge by the name of Janice Brinkley. She's a Philadelphia judge, and she just has had enough. She said that she's been trying to help him since 2009, so that's 8 years that he's been going before this judge, and that she's fed up looking at him. She threw the book at him, gave him 2 to 4 years for probation violation, even though the prosecutor and his probation officer had each given their opinions that he should not serve any time. But like I said, this Janice Brinkley she just can't take it no more. She tired of seeing him come up in there, so she gave him the 2 to 4 years. And so I feel sorry for him. But let me try to make sense of how I feel about this. I feel sorry for him because it's obvious that Meek Mill has been on the system so long, and that they have been making his probationary periods be so long that even things that might have been something minor and minuscule, had he not been on probation, he probably would not have been arrested, and it would not have reflected on his probationary period. You guys understand what I'm saying? Like, this man has to walk the extremely narrow path, which you would say, yeah, well, but you should be that way anyway if you're a citizen and you just trying to be legal and not do shit. But the incident with him being at the airport, that was not even his fault. Somebody walked up to him and they hit him first, and then, you know, so that was that. So really, the reason why he is going to jail is because of his riding his bike or his 4-wheeler or whatever it is up and down the streets of New York, which, I mean, if you're on probation, you shouldn't be doing these things. But if he hadn't have never been in trouble for anything prior, then he would not have gotten time for that. You guys, it's hard for me to explain exactly how I feel, but hopefully you're getting what I'm saying. But even when you say all these kind of things, you just cannot help but just keep saying to yourself, well, you just cannot get in trouble, period. You can't do these kind of things, okay? You just got to, you know, like everybody keep on saying, you got to move differently when you know that you're on probation and people are watching you, and that it's just going to, you know, it's going to come down to the fact of if you're doing what you're supposed to do out there. So even though I feel sorry for him, and, you know, it's too bad, and I definitely feel like they were harsh on those sentencing, the other part of me also says, well, I mean, you knew what it was beforehand, okay? And if that means don't be joyriding no damn four-wheeler, two-wheeler up and down the streets of New York or New Jersey or wherever he was, then so be it, okay? So it's hard to kind of justify, you know, you just really being upset about it and saying that it was unfair when you know he did not do anything. But it seems like it's excessive. It seems like it's a lot. It really, we just need to get this man off of probation so that he can live his life and not always be under the thumb of the penal system and all of that. I feel like I'm not getting my feelings across. I really hope you guys understand what I'm saying, though. I don't even know how this changes anything for him, if he's able to fight it or if this is mandatory. I think his lawyer said that they are going to try to fight this. So, I mean, I guess it'll be more to it, but there's a lot of people that are in support of Meek Mill, celebrities and heavy, you know, big names, Jay-Z, for example. And I know Jay-Z has a foundation where he works with these type of cases that started even with the Khalif Browder situation. So maybe behind the scenes Jay-Z and his foundation is trying to help him out in some kind of way. But anyway, yeah, I don't even want to add the part about Meek Mill's lawyer going on to say that the judge was upset because, you know, he didn't do a song, a remake of a Boyz II Men song and shout her out. Like, none of that makes sense to me. It's so way out and crazy that it just sounds like it's made up. I just can't imagine what lawyer would go on the record saying these things about a judge if it didn't have some truth to it. But then yet and still I can't see no judge, okay, really going out and saying some shit like that, you know, and making it personal and attacking Meek Mill in that way. I mean, that seems like a miscarriage of justice, if that was really what it was. So, you know, you don't hear much about that. Like, it seemed like maybe the lawyer was just tripping that day, because it seems like that would be, you know what I'm saying? Like, that story would be bigger or something. It don't make no sense to me. So we gonna not even pay attention to what the lawyer said. Okay, that make me side-eye him like, Meek Mill, you sure this is what you want representing you? Just out there just talking all crazy. But maybe it's not crazy. We'll see about all of that. But Meek Mill, yeah, it's fucked up that he's in this situation. But my whole feeling is just sort of like, well, what you think? 6 weeks ago, they say Mariah Carey went to a popular Beverly Hills surgeon and had the gastric sleeve weight loss surgery. They say that she did it because she was extremely self-conscious about her weight, that we had teased her and talked about her so bad that, you know what, she just felt like this is what she needed to do to get everybody off of her back. I'm not sure if I've ever really talked about Mariah Carey's weight like that. I've just always talked about the fact that she's so stiff and the fact that she's lazy and has not really taken care of her voice. Not necessarily talked about her weight, but if I did, I feel bad. Like, we didn't fuck this girl's head up so bad for her to think that she needed to have gastric sleeve. I mean, I am not against anybody having the surgery, but Mariah Carey was what? Maybe a size 14? I mean, I can't even believe somebody actually did the surgery on her, because usually they say that you have to be within a certain, you know, your BMI has to be over this certain percentage. And, you know, you could not tell me that Mariah Carey was at the weight that you would qualify for a surgery such as this. So it kind of makes me feel like the doctor performed this surgery on a person who didn't necessarily need it. You know, I'm not going to say whether it's hard for her or easy for her to lose weight. I know the losing weight thing is not an easy thing at all. Okay, that's why I don't have problems with people that have the surgery. But it just makes me feel like, I mean, who does a surgery on that girl? You know, so they say that she's had it some time ago. We've seen pictures of her recently, and she does look like she's lost weight. And I mean, I guess ultimately that's what she wanted. But damn, I'm just like, we didn't really fucked up Mariah Carey's head for her to do something so extreme. Because I know they have different, okay, so you have gastric bypass, you have the sleeve, and then you have the band. For them to not even do the band, or is that the same thing? I don't know, you guys. I just had a problem with that. I was just like, She wasn't that big, but maybe she wasn't big at all. She was grown woman shape. We all get a little full in the middle. If we don't work out, I'm not a person that works out. You get fuller in the middle, okay? You just get a little just not quite so curvy, you know, if you don't have a body that has hips and all that. I just was like, wow. I mean, dang, we really got this child, tormented her to the point where she went out and had this surgery. Hopefully she'll be able to maintain it, and maybe this will be the beginning of her being more serious about her weight and, you know, working out now and being on top of it and all of that. But I mean, it would be even worse for her to have this surgery and then gain it back eventually. I just don't see Mariah Carey needing the surgery. It's not for me to say what she needed. Obviously, it was a personal decision. She made it. She's happy with it, and there you go. But dang. And then lastly, in quickies, they say that Tammy Roman will not be returning for the next season of Basketball Wives. Good. I have a feeling that she could not with Evelyn anymore, and the fact that Evelyn will definitely be back next season. Okay, got to secure the bag now that she ain't with her man no more. I think that was Tammy Roman's exit out, and I think that she needed to leave anyway. I think that show needs to leave in general, but since they insist on bringing the shit back, it's good to see that Tammy has moved on to bigger and better things, so good for her. Jill Scott, they say that she's getting a divorce after just a year and a half of marital bliss. She was married to this guy named Mike Dobson. You guys remember we talked about her. Nobody even knew that she was supposed to be getting married, and they had video of the reception and how Big Daddy Kane surprised her and all of that. Y'all remember that? She was happy. She was with her new man and yada, yada, yada. Well, what a difference 18 months make. Now, not only are they getting a divorce, but she had to get a restraining order. She said that, you know, if they were to live together, it's not going to be safe for her or him. Okay. Probably not for him, because something tells me that Jill Scott, for lack of a better word, I believe that she is high maintenance. You've heard stories about her being controlling. I can 100% see that being married to Jill Scott probably is not the easiest feat. And for them two to not be together that long, you know, yeah, I'm not surprised that marriage is over. They say that they've been broken up since Labor Day weekend. This divorce should be easy enough. There's a prenup. They plan on having it enforced. They didn't have any kids together, and I don't even think they had any shit together. Okay, so yeah, your girl Jill Scott is getting a divorce. Who's next in line, Jill? Lamar Odom, okay, was celebrating his ooh, they almost hit that little Miata child. Was that a Miata? Yes. Anyway, when last time y'all saw a Miata? Anyway, Lamar Odom was celebrating his birthday in a nightclub in LA, and they say that he drank himself so much that, you know, he passed out. Look, Lamar Odom, in my opinion, is not going to be happy until he kills himself. And that's a terrible thing to say, but that is what it is. And anybody that is still partying with him, they are contributing to this death. Because you know that he has an addiction problem. Even if he's not doing drugs anymore, when you're drinking, there has to be a gateway. And when you are an addict, you need to not be doing none of that. Okay, and the fact that he still drinks is just, he's gonna kill himself. Obviously, his system cannot take that kind of shit anymore. He needs to cut all of that out. Cut it all out. I'm not going to be surprised when the story comes that Lamar Odom is not here with us anymore. And that's a terrible thing to say, but that's how I feel. I'm going to need Lamar Odom to get it together. And whoever this new girlfriend is of his, girl, you ought to be ashamed of yourself partying with that man knowing that he got a problem. What's her name? I can't even think of her name. Y'all didn't care enough to even write it down. And then let's talk about it being announced on the Steve Harvey talk show. I watched that shit yesterday. I was just like, how long is this show gonna last? It is not good. Anyway, on his talk show, he had Escape on there the other day, and it was announced that on November 6th, City Council President Caesar Mitchell was going to proclaim November 6, 2017 as Escape Day. The members of the group all showed up down there at the City Council meeting, I guess, and they were awarded keys to the city. And yeah, November 6th is Escape Day. All right, congratulations to the group. They are a big deal here in Atlanta, and good for them. It was announced yesterday that Rihanna is going to be hosting the 2018 Met Gala. They said along with Rihanna, the host will be Donatella Versace and George Clooney's wife, Amal Clooney. They're going to be hosting, you know, the Costume Institute's next exhibition. The theme for it will be Heavenly Bodies, Fashion and Catholic Imagination. And sources say that Rihanna has already spoken with famed black director Tyler Perry, and that Tyler Perry has already ensured that he'll have the live angels hanging from the He gonna have them angels hanging from the rafters, okay, and spooking out all the fucking guests there. Well, this is gonna be interesting. Catholic imagination. Child, I'm wondering what they gonna come up with if people really stick to the theme. You know, sometimes people just don't never stick to the theme, but hopefully they do. I'm intrigued. I want to see what they gonna have. They didn't really talk to Tyler. They should though. Them angels would be on hit. Congratulations are in order for Tia Mowry and her husband Corey Hardrick. They're pregnant again. Their second baby. You guys already know that they have a 6-year-old kid by the name of Cree, a 6-year-old boy. They are infanticipating. Congratulations to the happy couple. And lastly, we're going to give the fist pump of righteousness for our girl, Tiffany Haddish. She will be the first black female comedian to host Saturday Night Live this weekend on Saturday, which sounds crazy to me. I'm just like, every time I keep hearing that, I'm glad for Tiffany, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, they ain't never had no other black female comedian. I mean, now I ain't thinking of the Moniques and the, you know, Adele Givens and everything, but what about Whoopi? Whoopi never has hosted Saturday Night Live. That's crazy to me because it seems so late. I mean, we have made some strides as black women, and I can't believe that Saturday Night Live would have waited all this time to actually put one up there. Okay, but you know, better late than never. Here's what they say. I'm glad for Tiffany Haddish because this is a big deal. And I've seen the promo shots and she looks beautiful and she looks excited. And I think this is only going to, you know, step up and increase her resume. She's going to be able to ask for more money. And I mean, this is a great thing for her. But damn, Saturday Night Live. First time ever? Alright, you guys, let me get off of here. We do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.